Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome. I'm Muskan, and I'll be your host for today's exciting and insightful webinar in collaboration with Microsoft. Our topic for today is extending Copilot to your organization to unlock its full potential. Before we dive in, a quick heads up. There's a questions tab where you can drop in any queries or thoughts you have during the webinar. We'll make sure to address them by the end. We've also received the questions you sent during registration, and we'll prioritize those right after the presentation. Also, all lines are mute per the default settings of the webinar. To make things a bit more interactive, we'll be launching two poll questions during the session so you can share your thoughts. Plus, we'll send out a quick survey at the end. Your feedback will help us tailor future discussions to make them meet your needs. We'll share the session recording and presentation deck with you via email within the next day. Now, let's jump right into the panel discussion by introducing our amazing speakers, Anagha Joshi and Hemraj Sadnani. Anagha Joshi is a technical specialist for business applications at Microsoft. With over 15 years of experience, she's led numerous Dynamics 365 CRM and Power Platform implementation across industries like manufacturing, healthcare, insurance, and banking. Her expertise spans Dynamics 365 CRM, Azure, and the Power Platform. And she's known for delivering innovative, tech-driven solutions that deliver real impact. Thank you so much for being there with us, Anagha. Next up, we have Hemraj Sadnani. Hemraj is an accomplished technology leader with over 20 years of expertise in AI-driven automation and scalable cloud platforms. As the head of Center of Excellence for Copilots at Datamatics, he led the development of the Partner Onboarding Copilot showcased at Microsoft Build 2024. Hemraj has worked alongside Microsoft's engineering team to advance Copilot technologies and has developed solutions like TrueCap Plus for intelligent document processing. A proven leader, Hemraj is known for building high-performing teams and creating enterprise-grade market-leading solutions. A big thank you to Anagha and Hemraj for being here with us today. The floor is now yours to continue.
Thank you, Muskan, and welcome everyone. Thanks for appreciate your time to attend this webinar where we discuss the extension of co-pilots within your organization and how we can unlock its full potential. So AI has been around for quite a while, and in the last almost 2 years, we have seen the explosion of AI through generative AI, which has made AI available to all of us. And it has also enabled us to leverage the conversation AI. And this momentum is only going to continue. And as per if we go by the industry reports, we expect that 30% of the work activities will become conversationally enabled. So this means the way we work with applications, the way we do our daily tasks, that will change. These will be conversationally enabled and will be driven through the AI. These deployments and conversation AI is going to reduce the labor cost significantly. It is expected to be around 80 billion, and almost 80% of the organizations will be having their digital experience being delivered through virtual people called agents or the bots. This brings us to the standard definition of Copilot. Imagine a world where you talk to your applications and data, and they respond to you with actionable insights. We are so used to working with applications using the traditional interface, but this is all going to change. This world is going to open up enormous possibilities. And if we look at Copilot, it is going to be an AI assistant which is enabled through natural language, which understands the natural language to perform the daily task, the creative task that you would want to perform, generate the insights, and even trigger the workflows. It itself is composed of a workflow. It has its own knowledge base, and it can help trigger one or more workflows within your organization. it uses the foundation models, the generative AI, to drive its actions and the knowledge, and it can act as an orchestrator managing the entire workflows within the organization. Annagar?
Yes, yeah. Hello, everyone. So, as Himraj mentioned, Copilot is bringing a significant change in everyone's life nowadays. Is there any proven method or any study? So, here are the numbers. This is the study published by renowned surveyor Forrester. And according to their study, co-pilots can bring in significant change in your businesses. As you can see here, here are the few numbers which can showcase the capability of co-pilot. With co-pilot, your business can be projected ROI, can have the ROI of up to 353%. And it can accelerate the new hire onboarding. You know how tedious, how time consuming, and how much effort that process takes. It can accelerate that process by 25%. And most important factor is it can reduce the cost by 20%. So here are the few numbers which are published by this study. There are more measures or more parameters by which different companies can measure their success, and we will look at that in the upcoming sections. Right now, we have a question for you. I request Muskan to display the question on the screen.
Yes, Anaga. I am launching poll question 1. Here goes the question. Does your organization have Copilot or other AI assistants? I'd request the audience to please fill in their answers. We typically give you some 45 to 50 seconds. The options are no AI assistants, have Microsoft Copilot, have other AI assistants, shortly buying Copilot or other AI assistant, no plan to buy Copilot. We'll give you a few more seconds to think about your answer. All right, I see that people have answered. I will share the results.
Sure. Wow, we have 21% people having no AI assistance. That's amazing. Okay, so this hopefully this session will help you understand the advantage and capabilities of Copilot, and maybe excite you to go and look for some AI assistance for yourself. Moving on, so since we are talking about Copilot, let's look at the advantages. And I just mentioned that there are advantages to having a Copilot. Uh, we have been used to traditionally working with applications using navigation menus. And Anaga just mentioned that when we have a new hire, getting the person up to speed with what we have within the enterprise, takes time. Typically, the person has the domain knowledge or has the work knowledge. However, the application may be new, the interface may be new, and they have to navigate through all of this, learn this to get their job done. So now, instead of using these traditional navigation options, if you were to have a co-pilot, it would become super easy for the person to use the natural language and be productive on day one. Uh, Again, the prompts would help the person understand the application, understand the knowledge that is there within the enterprise, and then use that to also operate these applications in the enterprise. Uh, Secondly, all the enterprises, every organization has a lot of data, and the traditional approach is to use IT. By means of IT, we build our MIS dashboards, we build queries, and that's the traditional way of looking at the data in multiple ways. A last resort is to build an Excel. However, there is a lot of data which I would term as dark data, which is left untouched. You don't get to the data, and Copilot again, could become a conduit and assistant that can help you explore this data without having to, work with an IT team. You connect the data through an AI assistant, and people can, go and fire the queries without taking help from the IT and get the answers right away. That opens up, multiple opportunities. People can take decisions, when they have to, and not necessarily have to, get the data or the report by the end of the day or at a later point in time and delay those decisions. Uh, Once you enable these two aspects, obviously with the Copilot as a layer, you have the capability of exploiting the foundation models, generative AI. On top of this data, as the data comes in, you could use these queries, further leveraging the power of generative AI to look at data or your application in many different ways. Best of all, all of this could be done with a single interface. We all deal with, tens of applications within the enterprise. And when we have to, look at data across these different applications, we need to jump our windows. What if, the assistant could bring all that information or allow you to work with these applications from a single window, and, it would make the life so much easy. So how does enterprise with copilots look like? So this is a block depiction of the enterprise with copilots. You have the users who will use these copilots using natural language, and to enable these copilots to perform the activities, we have this layer that consists of the AI orchestration, which the Copilot connects with. When the query is sent from the user, the it will be directed to the appropriate app or data. So on the left hand side, you have the knowledge base. Every enterprise has a lot of documents. You have documents that are HR policies. You have documents for purchase agreements. You have documents for your products, your product pricing, your catalogs. There's a bunch of it, and we spoke that there is data within the enterprise. A dark data that you will even use for your MIS, and the users need to access this. And if we have to reduce the cognitive load on the users, meaning they should not be required to know what the data is, where the data is. If they could just fire a query and let the AI handle that and redirect it to the appropriate layer and get the answers out, that would make the users much more productive. So when it comes to co-pilots, the orchestrator on receiving the request will identify what the intent, what the question means, would ensure that the query goes to the right area. If it is a question that it needs to be addressed from the documents, it will go and get the data from the documents. If it needs to go to the application, obviously it will go and run those APIs to get the data back and give it to the user. And as far as the users are concerned, for them, they would be working with only one interface. You may have multiple copilots that you would create, but typically a single copilot should suffice and answer all the questions. To get this done, we definitely need to have access to the foundation models and the AI infrastructure, which typically we would use it from the cloud. Anaga, you want to add anything on this? You're on mute.
It up in the next slides, Himraj.
Sure. Yeah. So use cases, obviously, when you have these co-pilots, we all want to know the use cases where we can go and implement or make use of a co-pilot, and I'll give it to Anaga to walk us through the use cases.
Yes, so when it comes to extending the Copilot, if you have already used M365 Copilot, you must have used it in Outlook or Teams or in the Office applications like Word or Excel, PowerPoint, and you must have seen that it opens up in the right-hand panel, and from there are some pre-built prompts which you can use to get or retrieve the information that you need in each of these applications. But what if you need to extend it further? What if you want to bring data from some other systems that are related or connected with your uh, company database or knowledge source, right? So there are a couple of options or flexibility that Microsoft is providing. Either we can extend the existing Copilot or we can create completely new custom Copilot. So extending Copilot means we have a few Copilots available and we can extend it till some extent with the offerings of Microsoft Copilot. So to extend that, we can have a specific pre-built actions that we can use and extend it to that. And if we need to build complex use cases, bring data from different systems or different knowledge bases, websites, we can build completely new custom copilots, which we can then publish uh, in the different channels, whether it is your Teams or websites or custom websites, any messaging channels like Facebook. So you can do that with custom Copilot. So these are the few features when it comes to extension and custom Copilot. Now let's see what is the difference between two of these, right? And how do we select whether to go with extending or creating a custom Copilot? So when we talk about extending Copilot, when we are getting started with the Copilot or customizing the Copilot, these are the first use cases that we should pick because this will take shorter time to build. It would need low cost because it would be included with your M365 licenses. It would have some flexibility where you can use your internal knowledge source or websites and have a few more actions available to the users who are using Copilots. And the complexity of these extensions would be low to moderate. And you can scale these to all your users, internal users who are using M365 applications. When we talk about custom copilots, these would be completely new copilots, and you can publish this in other applications other than Microsoft 365 applications, right? So here you can build complex use cases with the Copilot. You can even use Azure Open AI models or the inbuilt LLM model or generative AI features to build these agents, right? And when you select these use cases, definitely it would be complex ones and it would take more time to develop. You will need a trusted partner like Datamatics to build these use cases. And it might require higher cost because you will be using different systems, actions, plugins, and there are a lot more things that you can do with custom copilots. You will be using that as well. And it would be depending on custom solution design. So this is the difference between extending the existing Copilot in M365 and custom Copilot. And based on your scenarios or where you see the quick revenue or quick impact, you should go with extending. And then when you get started, you can move on and identify more use cases and go with the custom Copilot. So here I'm presenting a few customer stories where customers are seeing success. They have implemented Copilots and Copilot Studio agents, and now they are leveraging and using and seeing the benefits of using that across their customers or employees or internal users, right? So HP is one of the major uh, major leading brands, we can say. So they wanted to use the Copilot and with the Copilot Studio agents with their customer service systems, right? And there they are seeing that they are able to get completed 2 million sessions per month and 250K social messaging conversations per month. This is significantly high numbers where they can see the increased CSAT and more cases completed within less time. And this is the impact that they are seeing. And they are now considering of leveraging this power or amplify the impact of Copilot within other systems that they are using and use those with the Microsoft products that they have in place. There is one more example, Progressive. They have built this IT help desk to help their employees with the questions about cloud. And they are using capabilities like inbuilt SSO authentication and Copilot generative AI uh, mechanism to use these bots for their employees. And what they are seeing, how are they measuring their success is this bot was built in just 3 weeks, right? And they see 23K employee sessions per year. And they are looking at increasing that by 2,000 per year with the current employee base. And they will be enhancing this further to their other houses, right? So these are the two customer studies. There are more. You can go online and check more use cases where you can see how customers are getting or leveraging Copilot and getting success with that. Here is one more case study, and it is about Predisio, and they are using Copilot Studio with Azure solution, Azure OpenAI service. So this is one of the complex use cases I was talking about, where you can leverage the benefits of Copilot Studio and connect it with different system, build your own model, use that within your Copilots, and enable or empower your employees to use those models and get the required insights or data, right? And on the right hand side, you'll be able to see the numbers, how they are measuring their success. They were able to save 1,200 hours of work per month, 70 new business opportunities created. 300 employees are using Microsoft 365 Copilot with this custom Copilot. 60 plus video trainings developed and 90% adoption rates after implementing Copilot. So by using Copilot, they are leveraging Copilot to do their mundane daily tasks so that their employees can concentrate on more complex tasks that they need to complete. And this way, they are getting more employee satisfaction, customer satisfaction, and increasing productivity. So when you look at this, you must be thinking that how you can leverage Copilot in your specific company or in your industry, right? So here are the few use cases, few based on customer studies, we can say. In each of the industry, like travel and transport, government, retail, healthcare, or education, how companies like Virgin Atlantic or PwC, I mean the customers in each of these industries are leveraging Copilot to get this success. Again, when we talk in Microsoft terminology, all the rooms in the house, like all the departments in the companies are leveraging Copilots and adopting it more and more, like customer service or finance, HR, IT, all the departments are using Copilots and amplifying the success. So I will keep showcasing this slide for some time so that you can read it and get started thinking how you can leverage Copilot. What are the primary scenarios or use cases that you can build with Copilot? So I request Muskan to publish a question for you. So after all of these case studies and the possibilities where you can leverage Copilots, we have a question for you, which Muskan will
Yes, Anubhav.
display on the screen.
Let's see what kind of co-pilots or assistants you would want for yourself.
Yes, here goes a question. Which use case are you using or intend to use copilots or other AI assistants for? First option, customer support. Second, HR. Third, sales, procurement, marketing, project management. Again, we'll allow you a couple of seconds to answer this question, and post that we'll share the results. last 5 to 6 seconds, as we can still see people putting their answers.
Sales and customer support. That seems to be some of the common use cases that we all want to build. And then obviously these are areas where you can maximize the returns, because the field force for sales and customer support obviously is kind of larger in that sense. And any reduction that we can have on the day-to-day activities obviously will add to the overall productivity. It's in line with what we have been seeing for the use cases that we are working with. So having knowing what Copilot can do, knowing that it has its own advantages, knowing that it can bring a lot of efficiency to how we work. Obviously, the question always is, how do I get started onto this journey? So from a Datamatics standpoint, we when we have started working with the Copilots, there are two things that we want to keep in mind is pick up use cases or select use cases that will probably have tangible ROIs, or will add to the productivity efficiency, or will have intangible benefits from a user experience perspective. So when building or finding these use cases, one, we should look at applications and applications that have integration points. A co-pilot will be able to work with an application when it has integration opportunities. An application that doesn't have that probably will not be selected for any of these use cases. The other is how, which are the users, what is the user experience, whether it is folks that are within the organization, customers that we want to kind of change the experience, because the AI assistant is going to change the way people will work. So the that is the kind of what is the user experience that you're going to give to your users, whether it's customers or your employees. And when building this, obviously, since generative AI, has this whole uh, misconception, and the whole issue of privacy, which is really not there, but these concerns are there in an enterprise. Start with cases initially where you are working with data in the public domain. Maybe it's documents that are your product specifications, product manuals, or policies that are openly available within the enterprise. Nothing that has any personal or employee related information or any customer related information. Start with those, get the hang of it, and then in the process, you learn the way you manage privacy when working with these generative and foundation models, and also complying with the policies that you may have within your organization. So how do I do the use case alignment? Obviously, like I said, you need to have the focus area. Who is going to be the beneficiary of the Copilot that I'm going to build? Whether it's going to be my customer, employee, whether I'm going to purely look at cost savings. Probably I don't want to change any experience, but maybe I want to bring down the cost of my operations. Cost saving efficiency go hand in hand. Sometimes they may not. So you may just want to look at the efficiency. It may not bring you direct cost savings, but again may have an intangible impact on the experiences that you may have for your customers. When we look at the ideal scenarios, and especially more from an ROI perspective, obviously we need to look at the ones where we have a higher velocity. In the sense, we should build co-pilots that will save time, or will improve the efficiency on transactions that are very, very repetitive, right? Because time saved on one transaction, and if I have several thousand transactions happening in the day, obviously I'm going to accrue that benefit. And typically rule based and repetitive. It is not a norm. I mean, generative AI has much more power. You could address far more complex cases, but if you start with these, it will help you get the hang, get the Copilot going, and then you could go on to the custom Copilot and build the complex cases, and which is what it is. Start small, learn, and then scale. right? So build these specific use cases, learn the what it takes to build one, scale it, and then probably jump to the others. And you should look at when you're building the first couple of co-pilots, you should look at co-pilots that you would be able to build within a month or two, because that will give you your early wins and then will help you build the complex and custom ones. So from a user experience alignment, now when we are building the co-pilots, like we said, it's good. The way users will work with the co-pilots is in the form of the natural language. At the same time, when we build these co-pilots, the natural language queries or requests internally will get converted into intents, something that the co-pilot would understand. And we should create these prompts or requests in a manner that it doesn't have a lot of cognitive load. A user should not be required. So while we bring the co-pilot to ease a user's life, the prompts themselves should not be long and complex. The prompt should be precise. They should be short, and that's how the user should be able to work with. Latency is an important aspect. When you're building your first couple of co-pilots, we all know users. When they start with something new, it takes some time to get used to the performance of the new system. If it is better, obviously there are no issues. However, if the performance is slightly degraded, users become impatient. So latency is an important aspect. And when working with the users, make sure that you have a feedback loop. When the users are working, obviously they will have prompts, they will have those questions, they will try to do things that we would not have known or intended to build. And obviously this feedback loop will ensure that the co-pilot one, it gets used, and the feedback that comes from the user is getting incorporated in the next versions. Functional behavior and user behavior both need to be researched well enough to ensure that the users will be happy using the co-pilot. And the co-pilot should be targeted to both new and expert users. There is a tendency to build co-pilots only for new users. We should look at making sure that we cater to the expert users as well. And again, when building it, make sure that we have set the expectations, because a lot of time, the expectations are far-fetched, and you may not see those kind of returns. So we have to be pragmatic. We make sure that the expectations are known and set at the beginning of the user use case selection and the user experience alignment. Now, from since Datamatics has been working on this for quite some time, we have built a COE that helps create or extend Microsoft Copilot and build custom Copilots as well. And then, as Annaga had mentioned earlier, the extension is you have your Microsoft 365 licenses. You can leverage those. You can extend it to some of the areas within the organization. You have the benefit of using the licenses. They are quick. You could extend it very quickly. And when it comes to custom, obviously there is more diligence required. There is more time that is required. But the advantage that you get is it's custom. You could define the outcomes. You could define the experiences in terms of the complexity and what it can do. What does Datamatics bring to the table? Datamatics, has been recognized as an AI first organization and is a valued co-pilot partner with Microsoft. We have been partners for quite some time now, and work very closely with the engineering team. So the technology that is moving and coming to end users, we get a chance to try it out and build the co-pilots before it hits the public preview. Uh, and we, through this collaboration with Microsoft, one, we do an early adoption, and obviously, will build these co-pilots following or building it that meet with the standards that Microsoft has set out. Co-pilots that we have built, Anaga shared some use cases that is there with some of the larger enterprises, and we have worked with other enterprises to build applications like partner onboarding. This is one which is also available on the Copilot Microsoft marketplace. What it does is it allows you to onboard a partner like a vendor or an employee very quickly. each of these entities, you need to take documents from them. You would need different documents in different countries, and you need to classify them, get the data, and only when once that process is complete is the partner or the vendor onboarded. This partner onboarding copilot simplifies that process, eases it out. You could do it, sitting in teams, and there are a bunch of things that you could do, finding out, which partners have not submitted documents, if I need to share the list of documents to them, so bunch of things. And we saw in the poll, sales was one of the depart areas or places where Copilot is required, and it helps with a lot of things. Dealing with your leads, identifying which are the critical ones, helps you build the schedule for the day. And there are several things that you could do with a Copilot in a natural language without having to access the user interface. So similarly, we have built a couple of these copilots. One for account payable that works with the CRM account payable system, enabling you to see your outstandings, the aging of the invoices, and all of this setting using natural language without having to involve the IT. We have also built custom co-pilots for our own products for the IDP and the RPA. In case of RPA, we allow our users to create RPA processes or bots, as we call them, using the natural language, much like how we use GitHub Copilot to create code for Python and C#. As mentioned, Datamatics is a featured Microsoft partner. We have collaborated for a couple of years now, and in the process of building the co-pilots, we were featured in the blogs, leading to the Microsoft Build event. Our partner onboarding co-pilot that I just mentioned, which is there on the marketplace, was selected as one of the co-pilots to be showcased in the Build event. And we are consistently working on enhancing the AI advantages that we bring to our partners and customers. This brings us to the end of the slides. Any questions that we may have? It's time to take those up, and we can answer those questions.
Yes, Hemraj, we do have a few questions from the audience, but first we'll take up the ones they filled via registration. The first question is from Ivan. Would like to see if Copilot can be used to help manage our shared inbox, auto-categorizing, and or sorting emails without the need for rules.
While the short answer is yes, for a scenario like this, even the standard automation technology should help you do this process without involving a co-pilot. You could build the process using the foundation model, the generative AI. You could use any of the automation tools that are available, which could constantly go and monitor your inbox. Use generative AI to do the classification and kind of forward it to the relevant folks or to their inboxes. And in case, if you're looking at a co-pilot, it can be used to do a lot of the MIS stuff that this process may require. But I would look at using the standard automation initially.
All right. The second question is from Sanjay. More insights on leveraging hybrid workload transition. Need more clarity.
So on the hybrid work, so this question probably refers to how do I, work with. I mean, my take is Sanjay, you're trying to look at how do I work with on-site and on-prem and cloud. This is where again, earlier that I mentioned in the presentation, you will have to look at the integration points. You have to figure out if these integration points are available and are accessible. Whether you are able to access it from the cloud or from your on-prem, and then design an architecture that can help you leverage. It can be done, but it involves a little more work than just building the standard Copilot.
Okay. The third question is from Dulal. How to get maximum advantage in technical work from Copilot?
So if I understand this question, this question pertains more to if I'm doing building applications, if I'm building co-pilots, or if I'm doing any kind of technical development work, how do I leverage the Copilot? There are many tools and products available in the market. We have our own, Kai SDLC, which enables the development team to build the application right from specifying the user stories or the business use cases, converting them into designs, and then the technical design, and then generating the code. It doesn't actually go and build the entire application, but it saves you a significant amount of time, and it ensures that the code that is generated is comparatively far more secure than I would have done when writing it upfront till I go and use some analyzer to figure out the security flaws. So there are tools, and you can probably look at those. One of them being GitHub Copilot.
All right. The second question is from Jaydeep. How to make useful slash working copilots as the use cases and data sets being dynamic. As we observe that copilots work for one user or one department, and that too for a limited time frame, and it gets changed or enhanced.
Anaga?
Okay, yeah, I would like to answer that question. Yes, with Copilot, you can definitely build working Copilots for more than one user or more than one departments to leverage. As you want to understand how it will work with dynamic data sets, as I mentioned before, we can connect our data sources to the Copilot. We can define some actions or even the authentication we can incorporate into our Copilots. When it comes to knowledge sources, we can use your internal knowledge source like SharePoint sites or folders, or be it your website. And as you know, even websites might have changing dynamic information available publicly. And Copilot will use all of that dynamic data sets and knowledge source to answer the questions or to perform the actions that are defined in the copilots. And as I said, we can definitely extend and build custom copilots, which you can share or release for more than one users or more than one departments. You can decide which knowledge source, which data set would be used, how the security should be incorporated, how the authentication should be used based on the different channels that you are publishing your copilots to. So Copilot with the agent builder or Copilot Studio, it offers a lot of flexibility to use your systems which are maybe on cloud or or to your customers, or if you want to publish it for your internal users, it can use all your internal database and knowledge sources. So you can get all the benefits of Copilot with these systems. Himraj, would you like to add
Yeah,
something
right.
to
And
this?
then in this case, I believe Anaga, they will have to go for a custom Copilot, because if I need that kind of control, which question or which query or which data element, I mean, typically what I would call as the role-based access control, that obviously we will have our own criteria to do that. So, in this case, it would probably be a custom Copilot where you build in the security features and kind of ensure that you take care of the dynamic nature of your enterprise.
Right. I hope this answers
This
this question. Yeah, Muskan.
Yes, perfect. The second question is from Saurabh. We are a financial services company and data privacy is a concern. Is custom copilot the only option we have, or can we use the standard models?
Anaga, you want to take this?
Yes. So with custom Copilot, there are a few standard models incorporated as the offering from Microsoft, which will use your data, but your data will be your data. It will not go outside, or anyone outside your tenant will not be able to access that data, or even Microsoft will not use that data to train your models. Even if you look at the internal security, so you might have different hierarchy or different set of users to which you are allowing different data set, right? Even that can be incorporated in custom Copilot when you define the security for the Copilot. Yes, it would be custom Copilot, but still you don't have to write your own models. You can leverage inbuilt models which come with Copilot Studio.
Yeah, to add to it, whether you write a custom Copilot or whether you use the standard framework to build the standard Copilot, in all the cases, the data is residing within your tenant ID within your network. It doesn't really go out except for the time that you will send it to the foundation model to do the analytics. So from that perspective, irrespective of what you build, the data remains within the network that you define.
All right.
Hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you so much, Himraj and Anaka. The second question is, can Copilot also be used to take speech commands for my daily work?
So the short answer is yes. There are models available that can convert speech to text, and they are fairly kind of efficient in that sense. Right now, we see a lot of success with English and the standard languages. If we look at regional, there could be the it may not be as accurate, but yes, I mean, there is a thought happening in that space, and the short answer is yes. You could use a speech to text and get the Copilot going.
All right. The second question is from Ritesh. Any examples where Datamatics has worked with small organizations, MSME, where there is a lot of hesitancy in putting costs in technology?
So we do work with or with SMEs, and it's not that we don't look at SMEs. Depends on the use case, depends on the ROI that the company is wanting to have by building these applications. As long as those things match up, we have done projects with SMEs, so we are not averse to working with SMEs.
Next question is from Josh. Can I build a Copilot on my own?
Yes,
You
you
want to take
can
that?
definitely. Yeah. So yeah, Josh, you can definitely build the Copilot. It might not be as complex as incorporating different models or use with different uh, systems, third-party systems that you are using. But there are definitely pre-built templates that you can use, or a few basic or simple use cases that you can build on your own using Copilot Studio or Agent Builder, which is light version of Copilot Studio, and use that in your M365 application.
Yeah, in fact, there is a whole community out there, to on GitHub, on some of these other forums where you see people, one playing with co-pilots and building some serious stuff as well. So yeah, I mean, there is a way to do it by yourself. It's just that you'll have to, like any other technology, you'll have to go through the learning curve.
Next question is from Amy. Are there any additional operational costs associated?
So when it comes to building standard co-pilots, your license gives you a lot of opportunity to kind of make use of co-pilots. Uh, in those cases, your operational cost may not be much. However, in case you are planning to build a custom co-pilot, and for the larger organization, you should factor in the cost of the generative AI tokens that you would use from the foundation models.
Okay. Uh, we have last two questions. One from John on how does Copilot integrate with my business application?
Okay, let me take that question. That's a very interesting and valid question. When we are building co-pilots, obviously we want to work with some applications with what we do in the enterprise. This is doable again with both standard and custom. The first criteria that is there to kind of make this happen is your applications should have a way to kind of get integrated, typically APIs, right? If you have the APIs, if you can use the APIs, that's the best way to do it. Any other way would be tricky, cumbersome, and probably not reliable. As long as you fulfill this criteria, you will be able to integrate it with your applications.
All right. I don't see any other questions from the audiences, Hemraj and Anaga. And are there any last final thoughts you'd like to share before we conclude?
Yeah, so this space is kind of moving fast. In fact, if one would have seen the keynotes from the Microsoft Ignite event, there have been uh, uh, there are demos that have been there with speech and audio and a lot of intelligent stuff being done with the Copilot technology. Copilot typically is becoming the UI to AI, so it's going to leverage the all the underlying AI. Be it your applications, be it your computers, be it anything that is there out that is there in terms of technology. Anaga, you want to add anything?
Yeah, so Copilot uh, is going to be with us, and that is a new way to work in in your day-to-day life, in all the applications that you might be using every day. Copilot, and as you start using Copilots, you will understand the power of Copilots, how it is helping you, how it is, you know, you can leverage that to do your, as we mentioned, mundane tasks. And with that, you can also get a lot of insights from your internal and external systems, which you might not have got yourself, even if you searched yourself, right? So Copilot is here to stay, and it is a new way of working. And as and when you start using it, you will know the power of it.
Yeah, it opens the world of possibilities. I mentioned the dark data. You have a lot of data. The access to the data is limited by virtue of the IT or the applications that we want to use it through. But with Copilot, you can bring the data to the user, letting them analyze it, take decisions, putting the necessary guardrails. Obviously, you need to ensure that you put the guardrails to kind of protect your data within the organization and from different users. That obviously needs to be done. But that said, you could do a lot of things with the Copilot. And as this space is evolving, we already have agents coming in with the Copilot working with the agents can automate a lot of processes that require intelligence, be it taking decisions on how you approve your processes, the next what next decisions and stuff like that, and it is becoming comparatively easier and better in terms of using the AI.
Well, thank you so much, Anaga and Hemraj, for sharing such valuable insights with us today. Your expertise and collaboration have truly made this session enriching, and I'm sure our audience walked away with some great perspective and a lot of things to think about. As we wrap up, I want to extend a big thank you to everyone who joined us, especially our audiences. We hope you found this webinar both informative and thought-provoking. If you have any follow-up questions or need more information, feel free to reach out to us anytime at events@datamatics.com. We'll be sending out the session recording and presentation deck by the next day, so keep an eye on your inbox. Also, we'd really appreciate if you could share your thoughts in the quick survey that will pop up shortly after we close this webinar window, because your feedback is super important to us. Until our next session, take care and see you soon. Goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Have a
everyone.
great day. Thank you.